Alright guys, welcome to Full Spectrum Warrior. This is where we head over to the official Star Citizen forums and see what everybody's complaints, hopes and dreams are. I'd just like to say a big thank you to our members. Recently we have Huggy's Actual, Liquid Squid and Twip. Welcome aboard guys, your support is truly appreciated. Let's go over the spectrum and see what's up. Well, you're not going to believe this. Engineering is a masterpiece. Engineering, chef's kiss. Engineering shows how excited people are for proper simulation. Don't tell me it's going to be a positive episode. How the hell am I going to bait people with a dramatic thumbnail? Let's see. Engineering is a masterpiece. Assault lemming. I'm pretty often critical of things in this project, but engineering is not going to be one of those things. It's so damn good. It adds complexity but also depth. Cooling is much more meaningful now. Putting out fires and repairing things is fun. Power plant going critical was an amazing moment. Much better than hard death currently. The UI is mostly good and readable. The particle effect for the fire extinguisher is really nice. Ships filling with smoke when life support is down is very cinematic. Component redundancy is now a thing. Carrying spare components is meaningful, knowing your way around ships is valuable, rewarding actual knowledge and learned experience. Thorsten and team, amazing. Personally, I love it, thanks for your hard work. You know what? I'm not even going to try and balance that one out. You can have that win. Take the wins where you get them. There's probably quite a few people who feel like this guy. I've not played it yet and I have seen some complaints about a few of these things, but it's mostly the nuts and bolts of getting it up and running. Because it is pretty foundational right now. And I feel like this person's talking, conceptually about engineering as a whole. What it would bring, how it might balance out. And yeah, I'm kinda with this guy. But I'm also pretty aware that it could mean quite a long spell of hardship, bugs, things not performing the way they should, for a lot of the other players who just do not care about engineering at all. And that's kind of a fair position. It's not something they're personally interested in, possibly going to break the game for them for a while. They've kind of got a right to be annoyed about that. But let's just let this be a win, this one. I'm not going to devil's advocate this or anything, let's just leave it there. I would give up Nix and engineering for... Honestly, I'd trade an entire star system and profession if it meant we could get a solid round of quality of life and social features across the game. There are things we deal with every session that shouldn't be tripping players up. UI inconsistencies, clunky inventory interactions, elevators that feel like a dice roll, QT routes that break for no reason, the kind of stuff that doesn't make flashy trailers but massively improves the day-to-day experience. Yeah, I was saying this the other day, there was a guy and his point was, he was in my comments, his point was, engineering is going to come along and break everything for everybody. And not because engineering as a concept is bad, but simply because there will be too many literal fires in the code for them to stamp out to make it a playable experience. And it's hard at this point, when you do have things, basic things, like inventory not working, still, freight elevator issues, traffic control issues, navigating around the place in QT, like those are fundamental things. And the guys in charge of this game still don't have a properly functioning system that is in any way robust. And when it does work for a while, it's like it's working because it's been patched, not fixed. So to add something even more complex, like say the new flight model, which is modelling all kinds of mass and air resistance and God knows what else, and engineering, it's very hard to have faith. It's very hard to think, oh yeah, CIG is totally going to pull that off. And I honestly don't know what to say in response to that, because it's true. I know it's big, I know it's expansive, I know it's complex, but the fundamentals have just never been straight. And here we are about to up the complexity by orders of magnitude. And I know I don't need to say this, I love the game. I love the game dearly. Nobody would put up with this game for this length of time if they didn't get something out of it. And we all get something out of it. And recently it's been brought up to playable, definitely playable. Whereas before it was mostly unplayable for the majority of the time. You had to grind through so many different bugs and you were losing so much of your free time into a black hole. And I'm scared to go back. I don't want any regressive steps back the way. However, there is one thing that brings me hope. And it was that whole having QA embedded into all of the teams on every level throughout the process. And that really seems to have made a difference. And now I know things have been a bit wobbly recently, but that better management system and just the knowledge that they think they can do it. Because I remember a time where I thought they would never be able to do meshing and things like that. I was like, that's never going to happen. They're going to go back on that and there's no way this can work. But they did it. And they do keep doing a lot of the things that they say that they're going to do. And yes, sometimes there is big periods of uncertainty and problems. But I think we'll get there. And I know that's like, we've moved past certainty and we're into belief at this point. I believe in these guys. Not a fan of how they market things. But other than that, I know they're not daft, and what they've achieved so far stands for itself. But there's no arguing with this guy. You know, fix the inventory issues, fix the QT, fix the fundamental stuff at whatever fundamental level you need to fix it at. Take the time, because as long as those things work, people might be less concerned when their ships are spontaneously combusting for no reason. I'm just saying, there's like a massive side payoff. If you can just reach into your inventory and take the fire extinguisher out, or the med pen, or whatever. For some reason it takes a lot more of the edge off. Anyway, that's my take on it. This guy's take is pretty accurate as well. Missions not working, actual social tools, proper friend list management, org tools and things like that. And that's fine. You know, everybody wants everything right now. And everybody wants something different, so you're never going to be able to please everybody. That doesn't invalidate this guy's point. It's just engineering and Nix all have to land in the game as well at some point. And the more hands that CIG are on that to guide it into land, the less trouble it'll be. But at the same time, the basics not working just pisses everybody off. So it's a constant lose-lose scenario. Engineering needs a slight touch of realism. Guys, I like engineering stuff on Tech Preview, but I think we need to add a bit of realism to it. I was able to punch a cooler and it caught fire. Last I checked, my character is not a fire mage. Thanks for listening. I mean, that's just backwards. Punching things should make it work better, in my experience. Hi, it would be great if the onboard computer provided more different automatic alerts via loudspeaker on multi-crew ships, which will be heard throughout the entire interior of the ship, something like a public address or a general alarm. For example, self-destruct sequence alert and countdown, smoke or fire on board, radioactive contamination, critical damage and malfunctions, such as engine damage, life support system failure, critical damage to the ship's hull, and so on. Things like that. That's a fantastic idea. I really hope that they have that planned. That would be nice if the hacking gameplay lets someone deactivate these, creating a mess just because something wasn't announced. Configurable, please. I do not like too many verbose speech messages, especially for anything I can plainly see or expect. Good point. Who's tired of unpolished ship audio spam? Talking about the high-pitched whining sound introduced a year ago with master modes. You know the sound where you leave and return to your ship and it's now making this awful sound as if it's stuck switching between flight modes forever. Oh man, is that still in the game? Is that still doing that? Yeah, there's quite a lot of little issues like that in the game that really do my nut in. And I just want to say, inside your cochlea there's these little hairs and they get pressed down for certain frequencies. If those get kept pressed down, eventually they just don't stand back up. That's how you get tinnitus. Doesn't need to be loud, just needs to be continuous. So things like air conditioners, fridges, just electricity in your house, they're all just constantly pressing down on those hairs. And the noise in those hangers, my god. I'm just saying. I don't think anybody in the audio team at Star Citizen is considering protecting your ears from continuous high-pitched noises. And this bug has been around for a while. Like, come on. Hangar reservation at lobby ASOP terminal. I would like the option to reserve a hangar of a specific size at the lobby ASOP. Yes. Why was that not just the default approach? I'll never know. Or at the very least, for you to be able to call ships from across the solar system, even though you're in a small hangar and that ship is a large hangar. I'm not trying to call it up in my hangar, I'm just trying to get it from Orison to Hurston without having to go back to the lobby. Like, I feel like I'm not asking a lot here, to be honest. Why is the Perseus so hyped? All over Star Citizen related platforms, the Perseus is obviously very, very hyped up. Why is it so sought after? Not that I'm hating on it, I just genuinely don't get the appeal, besides the fact it's sort of big ship with big shooty guns. Again, just a lack of understanding on my end. What do you think? Driftwood Badger. It's a classic battle cruiser shape with big boomy guns. That's basically it. It looks amazing, people like big guns, and they cannot lie. A perfect answer, if ever there was one. Please give us this cucumber skin for the Hull C. I mean, yeah, I'd be alright with that. Anvil Atlas chassis variants. So my favourite ground vehicle has to be the Anvil Atlas chassis. So I decided to cook up a couple of ideas for variants, and I'll provide a brief description and why they would be good fits. God fucking damn. Oh man, that would sell so hard. So hard. Get that straight into production. And also put a turret on it and some wings. I'm kidding, shut the fuck up. Medical terminal, medical bed, some storage. Bruh, dude's got it sussed. Remove door and add wash station and medical gel storage. The medical atlas would be an unarmed combat ambulance. Now, there's no need for it to be unarmed, so let's not be hasty here. Couple of size 2s never hurt anybody. Truck and trailer flatbed truck. Ah no, that's kinda awesome, like. I would've just went the whole hog and put the 32 on there. Extended that right out. No point messing around. Holy shit. Take my money. Take it. That is nuts. I absolutely love it. Who is this? Pugnari Ot Mori. You're a legend, dude. You get 10 legendary points today. Oh, he's got more. Here's a camper van. Dude, that is sick. That's absolutely sick. A shuttle bus version. Yeah, we've seen that one. Fire rescue, by the way. Wow. And a mobile tactical centre. These are fantastic. Oh, he's getting stick for using AI. They're taking our jobs. Nah, these were cool, dude. Great ideas. Loved it. Missions that promote require low flying or land vehicles. I've been thinking since Lazarus that we are in need of something similar, that instead of an outright no-fly environmental hazard, has an extremely low ceiling flyable route to the objective. Yeah, I've been saying this for a while. Just take a whole planet or a moon and make it so you can't fly down through the atmosphere. You have to use orbital elevators and then call up vehicles. And just get some solid ground missions on there. Be epic. Absolutely epic. Would love to see some normal-ish bags that aren't sci-fi, box-shaped, etc. Just rucksacks that would fit on an outpost type armour. Oh, that's such a good shout. That's a great shout. Live like a Star Citizen CIG, please pay more attention to creating content around a spaceman's life. There is so much potential in creating game mechanics around living as a Star Citizen, besides FPS and ship battles. Take coffee, for example. We all have a coffee machine in the ship's living quarters, but most of them are non-functional. There could be coffees that have benefits for your physical performance, there could be multiple coffee brands, there could be wild coffee beans. You see where this is going, right? And I have no doubt that at some point down the road, CIG will find a way to monetize all of these little things. Take the 300 series for example. I would be more than happy for that kind of setup to be the main monetization drive in the game. You want little house plants and this, that and the next thing for your spaceship to decorate it. Once you can ensure that loadout and stuff like that and it all comes back exactly the way it was, I would be fine with that. That would be perfect. Obviously throw in some stuff that you can find around the place as well, you know, don't be a dick about it, but like, they would make so much money. But I feel like we're not at that stage yet. First you would need some sort of free-form snapping grid, which was mentioned before in the bases thing at SitCon. You'll be able to snap and rotate things anywhere you like, and that'll probably get moved into ships as well, and then you would need to be able to ensure that whole loadout. So there's a couple of steps in between here and there. And coffee machines would be cool, and all the stuff like that would be cool, but it's probably just not top of the pops at the minute. We'll get there though, dude. Rocky Horror Picture Show time warp emote. It's just a jump to the left, and then a step to the right. With your hands on your hips, you bring your knees in tight, but it's the pelvic thrust that really drives you insane. Let's do the time warp! like, I'm in. No point in having a motion capture studio if you're not going to use it to its full extent. I am once again asking for player posted contracts. It is not that time, my friend, but I'm pretty sure it's planned. We're going to need that for bounties, deliveries. We're going to need a store for buying stuff from each other. Obviously the medical gameplay would benefit, like it would affect every bit of the game. People putting in orders for certain minables. You open it up, you specify an amount, you state the point of delivery, you state a minimum and maximum you're willing to pay, you put it up, people bid for the contract, they have a certain time period to complete the contract, or they don't get paid for the job. And the contract goes up again. When the contract's complete, they get their buy-in plus the payment for the job. For those who are here long enough, you'll probably remember the old MFD menu button that we used to have. That button would take us to a screen that listed all available MFDs, as opposed to an arrow to navigate them one by one. That's a fantastic idea. Menu screen, pick the MFD you want to display. 2 clicks, instead of cycling through them all. This person was saying that the problem was it took up a little bit of the screen, you know, the home button. The way around that would be if you just click the middle here, it would take you back to the home. That way we don't have to add or lose anything. Fantastic, dude. 10 legendary points for you. Honestly, the game ideas section, whoever commented that on the last Spectrum Warriors video, you're a legend. This was a great idea. This is so much more positive and constructive. A way to make Grey's market fit more in the verse. You will probably be able to buy Grey's ships for Alpha UAC, but what about making it a trade as well? Like Wicklow, but more grounded. Whoa, 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 buddy. Whoa right there. Nobody wants more Wicklow. Let's read on. Say you have to deliver X amount of so-and-so component and ship weapon and X amount of SCU of CM and RMC, and you will have a shiv built for you. You know what, that's actually not too bad. I'd be alright with that. As long as you could buy it as well. Because, you know, some people just can't be asked with that. You hand in 4 repeaters, bunch of RMC, you know, the components that would seem realistic for building a ship with. Yeah, that would actually be kind of cool. You know what, I actually like that. You'd need a little bit of gold, you'd need some silicone and stuff like that, you know, just stuff that you would actually build a ship out of. Consider it a dry run for crafting, without the crafting. Yeah, I like it. FPS Primary Medic Tool. Dear CIG, I scream into the void with the humble idea of creating a medical tool that acts under a primary slot. Benefits: increased healing range, larger magazine, potentially cures tier 3 injuries at the expense of a full magazine. Damn dude, this is a great idea. Downsides: cannot self-heal, very weighty, think Fresno but a little extra, pricey ammo. This type of tool would introduce a more designated medic role into the game, potentially making FPS combat as described in Sitcon. In the current state of the game, effectively everyone is a medic given how accessible the med gun / lifeguard is. Giving someone the ability to invest their equipment into a more supportive role would be awesome to have in more extensive PvE / PvP environments. This is a fantastic idea. Me and a guy were talking about this not long ago, and having a backpack replaced with a canister of med gel or something like that, and you could just run around gooing everybody that needs good. Definitely see a lot of potential with this. I have to do this to see all of my power options. The MFD is not as useful as it should be. Damn bro, that's a nice setup you got there. I'm gonna run that. But this guy's right, I still to this day question the removal of MFDs as a good idea. It looks neater, things are tidier and stuff, but informationally it creates a lot of issues. And managing multiple things at once is just impossible, to be honest. A small overview of implementation status for engineering gameplay concerning the callable ships and ground vehicles for 2+ players available to me in the tech preview. The Cutty Black's got an engineering console. When did that happen? That's new. But the Spirit of the Raft and the Valkyrie all don't have one. And the Valkyrie and the Cutlass Black don't have their components yet. The Grey Market Shiv doesn't have components. What? What do you mean? That's brand new. 400i. You can access the components in the 400i. Last I checked. Or maybe you can just open the hatches and there was nothing in them. Could be misremembering that. And there's no engineering console either. Let's do one more feedback. engineering and doors. I checked out the tech preview today and it struck me just how much the game's going to change. The move away from HP and Kaboom gaming is one of the reasons I've stayed with this project, and I'm not disappointed by what I've seen. I find it hard to criticise the work. It was good that we could open/close and lock interior doors. It would also be great if we could pin doors open. Better still, if they then auto shut in an emergency. For example, fire. No, that's a bad idea, dude. You don't want auto anything, to be honest. Say you're keeping those doors open so that fire can't start, for example, like you're purposefully venting your ship. But there are scenarios where it would be good, you're right. Owners of ships like the MSR would be grateful. Currently, I can open a door in the engineering console, but walking past it once triggers the auto closure. Yeah, see that? Just get rid of that. That's so annoying. We can't have auto open and close on a ship that has atmosphere. What if the next room is vented? Better yet, just make it a toggle, so it's then our responsibility if we kill ourselves. Yeah, what I do love about that console screen on the bigger ships is that you can track where people are by doors opening and closing, so that means you should be able to isolate them and lock them in and then send teams to go and take them out, hopefully before they do too much damage. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to messing around with it. Before we go, one more. First glimpse at RTGI, Ray Traced Global Illumination. So this is with the RTGI on, this is with it off. And there's about a 20 frame difference in performance. This is with it off. This is with it on. That looks freaking fantastic. Chunky performance hit though. And that's all for Full Spectrum Warriors this week. Hope you enjoyed the show. Let me know all your thoughts and dreams below, what you agreed with, what you didn't disagree with. Let's get right into the guts of the game. As usual, thanks for watching. Take care out there. 07 guys.